Guys, welcome back to another chapter review for One Piece chapter 1165 called Echo. Now, I hope you guys have been enjoying the shorts I've been doing with card rippings, card openings. I have some OP13s to open and OP05s to open, so hopefully we get a good hit from those. Now, let's jump into the chapter review, Echo. We get there's so much to cover, so much to talk about, right? There's the power system, not really power system. It's not as in-depth, but there's something I want to talk about with what Roger mentions. I'm disappointed that Harold does not show up, at least from what we know. And like Oda does a layup, like he does a perfect layup because this man Emu leaves. And in my head, I'm reading the chapter and I'm like, he's not going to show up, right? But in my head, like, oh my God, Oda, you kind of did it. Harold could have shown up and helped. Anyway, long shot. I know it was a long shot, but that was something that... Anyway, let's go through the chapter. We'll talk about it when we get there. I'm just a little disappointed that Harold didn't make an appearance just to, help finish the fight. But anyway, we have Roger and Garp fighting Zebek with a big initial clash of Conquerors Haki and Armament Haki just all melded together. Oh my God, the cat just moved the light. Okay, it's fine. So they clash and so this also gives me implications. What does this clash mean? Because I'm so conflicted with this clash right here, right? So Garp, Roger, and clash with Zebek. And they use so much Haki that we've seen this before, and Oda has saved these moments to show the Yonko, to show powerful people clashing. This is a testament of power. When you both clash and you split the skies, you are in the realm of Yonko tier. And we get that with Roger Garp clashing with Zebek. We get a burst explosion of Haki, and we see a distinct 100% clear clash of splitting the clouds. I could have sworn that, like, I was there, I could have sworn that Zebek is Yonko tier since, I mean, he took down an admiral, no diff, mid to no diff, in the land of Mary Joie, and then he clashed with Harold, and he respected Harold's strength. Is he not Yonko tier? Were the admirals of the past just that much weaker that they would have not held a candle to the Yonko of today? Like, I don't know. There's something that's missing here. Why did you show it now when I feel like clashing with Harold would have been a good indicator that Harold is Yonko tier with Zebek, or any time, at any moment. If they clash the second time, maybe you get a Yonko tier. Maybe they weren't going all out because they were like conflicting of emotions or etc. because they're supposed to be friends, and he joined the world government, Harold joined the world government side to hunt for Zebek, etc. I'm very conflicted because I feel like at least at some point between even Whitebeard and Roger clashing split the skies in the future, and they were best buddies. They clashed, they drank, they had drinks and everything. So why did Oda not show a clash between Zebek and Roger to denote that they're Yonko before this moment? Is he saying that they reached Yonko tier on this island for the first time? Or did they not know how to use the... Yeah, like, if they didn't know how to use their Haki before properly, then they would need to be Yonko tier, use their Haki properly now to split the skies, right? I don't know. There's so many questions, and I feel like I'm not gonna get the answer to this. It's just like, hey, they split the sky this time, and I'm a little disappointed in that. So, I don't know. I'm conflicted on it. I feel like they should have. Some people, like Harold, should have been a Yonko tier. He should have been able to split the skies before in any clash that he had with Zebek, at least before getting to God Valley. Because I feel like Zebek was strong enough. He no-diffed an admiral, I feel, in Mary Joie, that he's been Yonko tier enough to do this all the time. So they show that they split the sky. Everybody's leaving, everybody's freaking out. So everybody in the Rocks Pirates is already immediately disbanding. Everybody's saying go for the ships. Shaki? Shaki saying go. We're the Roger Pirates. Are, not the Roger. The Rocks Pirates are done. We're getting out of here. Everybody's going to the shore, the coastline. Garp and Roger snail in, snail in, call in that, hey, get all the people on the ships. Once you're off the island, I'll be there. Don't worry. Roger, same thing. Get to the ships. Just make it off this island. This is done. This place is basically done. Whatever's in front of me has to be taken care of. Everybody else is just going to get in the way. We later see that two people come in and help out, which is my theory for what Roger said in the final fight. So you got both of them get serious. Roger, Garp get serious, throw their coat off, and saying we got to take care of this. Let's do a momentary, temporary truce. And he says, I can't. Garp just agrees, like, I'm not thrilled, but we can't leave Zebek like this. I can't leave him. Because he hears the voice of all things with Zebek pleading for them to execute him. Just end him here, please. And I think it does confirm that Garp does have the voice of all things in this regard. Let's just go with that aspect. They were saying they were just wanted to fight them, and he's like, and Garp just ended up having to be in all this mess. So this is the story of what Garp says is what he tells Sengoku. Maybe he doesn't tell Sengoku the whole truth in this regard, and he just keeps it to himself of what that monster is that he saw. And so this is the story that Roger and Garp can kind of confide in, that, hey, we both 2v1'd Rocks, and Rocks is gone. Right? So that's kind of the story. Either Sengoku lied, or this is as far as Sengoku knows. Maybe he didn't tell what he saw in the island. Garp didn't say the whole report, and he kind of just kept it between him and Roger and said, hey, we can't be saying this. What is that thing? Let's figure this out. Maybe in the future, maybe they just go right back to it. We still aren't done with the flashback, even if it gets to this end of the God Valley. We still have the whole Loki aspect to go through. So I'm excited to finally be done with God Valley and see what happens there. And I want to know what happens at the end here, which I will explain a theory at the end, or not theory, it's just what they talked about. They start clashing again with Zebek, many fights. Some people were not thrilled with the fight. I think it's just a God Valley flashback. It has to be a little quick. You can't be doing a main story fight when it's like Oda's trying to get through this flashback already. So we see massive Conqueror Haki discharge going off, and they're all getting to the ship, but not really. Gloriosa ends up coming onto frame, and finally, I think I was asking last chapter, I don't remember if I said in the video, but I'm like, where's Gloriosa this whole time? Gloriosa just popped out of nowhere and said, hey, I'm here. That looks like a good boat. Mind if I join? And just comes on board. So all good. We get a little moment of a panel with Lin telling Kaido, you owe me for what you did. You owe me big time for the devil fruit. And Kaido refutes, like, no, it was fair and square. You lost, etc. I'm going to make a crew. She's going to make a crew, and they're going to fight each other. So this kind of just denotes where they're coming from. Everybody's getting getting out of there. We have a panel. Oh, that also confirms that Lin Kaido didn't get one-shotted by Rocks. They got pushed off. They got pushed away, but then they kind of just backed off, and they're like, hey, that guy looks really strong. I'm not going to fight him no more. I'm out of here. Lin's like, I'm out of here. She got kicked once, and like, that's not my problem. Kaido's like, well, Kaido's way out of his element here. Whitebeard is a fancy one, nice one, because he clashed with Zebek, was out of his element, goes flying to the mountain, breaks the whole mountain himself, and he comes off, and he's not scarred, so I don't know where this scar comes from. Either he goes running back to Zebek, fights off Garling to get the damn scar he deserves in the future. He gets in the future, because unless he fights a Holy Knight in the future, for whatever reason, he needs the scar. I mean, it's perfect. He has to fight Garling somewhere so he can say the word that he got the scar still aches from looking at Shank's face. It just, okay, maybe Oda forgets. I don't know. Anyway, you know, it's been 1,000 chapters or whatever. Can't remember everything. But I'm impressed that Whitebeard got up and he's chilling. He's good. No scars, no big wound or anything. He's just walking off, and we meet Marco's dad, Pologram. It looks just like Marco, which is hilarious. He looks exactly like him. So he's saying, "Join my crew, join forces," and Whitebeard just walks off, and he's just getting tailed by Pologram, which is pretty funny. And we get Roger Stocks going back, not Roger, Dragon Stocks going right back up here where he jumps on the ship. He goes to whoever is captain of the ship. He points a gun at him. He's saying, "Let these people on. I don't care. Do you condone this? Are you accepting of what just happened on the island? Let those people onto the ship." They're all saying, "Oh, you're gonna pay for. You're gonna regret this. Be careful, Dragon. Don't do this." He's like, "I'll take care of it. Let those people on, or I'll execute you." So Dragon Stocks, he's already a revolutionary right there in that moment. He's defying the Marines. He's telling all these people to get on, and it's going to be his fault for it. Just he's taking blame. He's probably going to get kicked out of the Marines or something. Garp's probably going to pull some strings, but he's saying, "I'm done with it. I cannot condone what the hell just happened on that island. I'm going to go be a revolutionary." And he leaves. So I see that part of the story. That's awesome. Dragon Stocks up again. He lost, so he freaked out about losing Shanks. He's just saving anybody he can, anybody, and this is just gonna stay with him, and it's gonna be more in depth to his character. It's great, great in my opinion. We have Rayleigh and Gabon rushing to Roger, rushing to where the fight is happening, rushing to aid their captain, True Crew, which makes me think maybe Whitebeard is going to go to Zebek. Maybe we have a moment that Zebek, not Zebek, where Whitebeard goes, clashes with Garling. We have a moment where they might clash. That's the only saving grace for the scar. Anyway, that's it. We have Saturn, who is still controlled by Emu because of the eyes, saying that island never existed. They're in the West Blue. And this was the perfect layup for Harold to not have seen Emu, not have seen all that stuff, and not be questioning what a monster, whatever that monster or elder thing was that landed. Actually, Garp knows that was the Gorosei, so he doesn't have any questions. I don't know. Anyway, I will get to something that Garp says in a little bit. Emu leaves. Harold could have shown up and not known anything negative about the world government. Just, hey, we don't know what happened to Zebek. Help us take care of him. And he's on the outskirts, so he doesn't sense any of the Haki right now. It's just, he didn't see the sky split. It's just so baffling to me. Why is he not there? He has to show up next, right? He has to do something. Like, I just can't accept that he's just not doing anything. Or, right, the ship was on fire, so maybe he saw everything, he just couldn't join in or something. But he can swim. He doesn't have a devil fruit. I don't know. Whatever. I'm done with that for now. And I gotta see what Harold was doing the whole time. Like, I don't know what was going on, but I was just on my ship watching. I saw the sky split. Garp, what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened on the island. So they're we get a narrator box, and when we get the narrator box, we know it's epic. He's talking about the records. The island was wiped off the records, wiped off the casualties, wiped off how many people were on there. The island, in the background, you see the island breaking. So God Valley Mountains, the first one fell with Whitebeard. Mid-clash, the other one's falling on the island. All the names were purged off the island. No number of casualties is known to this day. But Roger's asking Garp, did you know what that black thing monster was? And Garp is like, I'm with you there. I don't know what the heck that was. I don't know anything that's going on. And Roger throws out the offer. If you want to leave the Navy with whatever the monster thing that was, and it pertains to the world government. That's a weird way of justice, but you should join us. Ah, he throws him an offer to join the crew and he says no. Of course he's going to say no, but he says no. Who's going to protect the Marines if I quit? So you get a moment where, like, some people suspected he's in the Marines to try and take care of the Marines and lead them in the right direction, because he is, in a sense, the most balanced justice, because he didn't save his son Ace because of the crimes he's committed, but he stood there and he takes care of criminals, because pirates are 95% pillaging and doing bad stuff, right? So let's just agree there that pirates are generally criminals. So there's a little 5% line where there's 95% of the time he's making the right choice, I think, as a Marine. But yeah, he's trying to protect the Marines as a whole. We need a further translation if he's trying to protect the Marines' name, to protect the Marines individually themselves. We don't know, but he saw that monstrous thing and he's like, they're done. They are cooked without me. I need to be here in the Marines to help make the next best thing to defend against that and train myself and all that nonsense. But yeah, that's Kobe in the future. But then Roger starts going off on it's all about the mass. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, the mass of people? The population? What are you talking about? The mass. No. And then Garp's also like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, no, the mass. It's all about armament Haki. And I'm not doing any damage to him because he's concentrating Conqueror's Haki and armament Haki to do damage. But then Garp's like, well, yeah, because he's probably using Conqueror's Haki to defend himself. And Roger's like, exactly. So all the Conquerors, their Conqueror's Haki are canceling each other out, and they're doing just regular damage to each other with Haki and whatnot. But Zebek is always able to heal. He's able to just tank the damage and keep fighting and keep fighting. So they're gonna tire out in the long run. But then he talks about you need to focus all your mass into the next attack. So we need to overcome his defense to do all the permanent damage. This is probably what Gabon is talking about, and Roger has taught them, Rayleigh and Gabon, how to use it in the long term. Because here is the moment he realizes how to do it. But he has to concentrate, what's it called? We should channel all of our mass into it. So whatever their feeling of mass, whatever it is that maybe is their chamber, their gas tank of Conqueror's Haki, like Luffy's. Remember, he has like 10 to 15 minutes of when he was in Gear 4. I have 10 minutes. I have 5 minutes of limit of of Gear 4th. So if Luffy can expend all of that Haki in one attack, I think that's what he's talking about with Conqueror's Haki. I need to expel everything in my system for that one last attack, because I am going to run out and I'm just taking too much damage long term because we're not getting through his defense. So that's what I'm thinking it is. But he says we're going to be don't worry about the crippling the aftermath will be. So they're going to be knocked out. They're going to be out. Like basically how Luffy was every time he went into Gear 3rd, used all of his Gear 2nd, Gears 3rd, Gear 4th. He's always has a drawback. And the drawback is probably they can't fight. They're literally just walking targets at that point. My cat. They're walking targets at that point with zero Haki to defend themselves. They're basically done for if they don't finish it with this next attack. And they probably won't survive. But if they use everything, all three of them will be out of commission with that. But they have to land it or they're going to be done. And you get a moment, a tearful moment, with Roger just telling him that there's no comforting words, I think, for this, but I feel that you're so frustrated in there. You can tell. It must be so frustrating that he had to take on this form. He didn't want to do, obviously, everything that Zebek's done. And you have Roger basically tearing up. He has to take care of a rival here. It was a They had a joyful banters. They had moments at the bar, and then when they were out at sea, they just kind of clashed like Whitebeard and Roger would clash in the future. It was just a rival, but they charge up their named attacks, their final, I want to say final named attacks. And I've been going on for a while here with my timing. My cat just jumped on. They've been going on for a while. They do their named attacks, and Rogers is Kagutsuchi, I think I'm saying that right, ace, with Garp's being infinitum explosion. I haven't heard that one, but whatever it is, it looks like they're both charging up an attack, and they just go all out on top of Sebek there. And they go land their attacks. You get a narrator box. Of course, that's why that Zebek left an undeniable echo with time, and they would continue to shake the world. So this would be, unless, depending on the moment he dies, did he die getting transformed into Dami Reversi? Then he died with a smile. Here at his final moments, being in this Dami Reversi form, it would be the first time a D clan member dies without smiling. But I feel like it would be unfair to not get a few panels of Zebek talking next chapter. There's a break next week, unfortunately, but it would be unfair not to have a few panels of Zebek talking, saying whatever that thing was, talking, giving some information. Like, how do you have Garp and Roger not know anything for the future? It just feels so painful. How are you going to leave them blind when Zebek knew so much? How did he know so much? Who gave him the information? How does Eris know any of this information? Well, Blackbeard probably told Eris all the information she needs, and his plan even, because she even said he wasn't ready. How does he know this? Please don't let this information get lost here. I just feel like he needs a few panels. Harold probably doesn't, just don't even make him show up to the island anymore. I don't think he shows up anyway. I mean, it's just going to be Garp and Roger probably hearing the last few words or moments. Maybe give him a moment to explain everything that's happened. But yeah, that's the theory, I think, for mass. Whatever mass is just expanding everything that you have inside that's Conqueror and Haki related into one final attack, which is like them figuring out how to land final lasting damage, but they kind of just use all of it and hope it works, when in the future you just kind of use a different amount. I don't know. Maybe they perfect it in the future. That's why Gabon was able to land the lasting damage to Somers. We'll see. But they had to break through his Conqueror's Haki defense to actually land the lasting damage. At least, because Conqueror's Haki, this Haki power system is just like, it all delves down to, I have more Haki than you, but they're kind of at an equal limit, so they can just battle for a long time. And it's not meant to be taken as seriously, like I just have more Haki. Actually, that's hilarious, because I just read a meme before starting. I read a meme, and everybody's theories were Garp's gonna fall and Roger's gonna defeat Zebek 1v1, beats Rock 1v1. Didn't happen. What's it called? No, not that one. Sends Emu back with the Haki bursts That didn't happen. Emu just walked off. Emu doesn't even care about what happened to Zebek. He's basically saying Zebek could die for all I care. He didn't even keep Zebek, which throws me off because he kind of creates a monster in Garp and Roger in this form, right? Because he creates two monsters and he just lets them be in Garp and Roger. It throws me off. You didn't take care of Garp and Roger? You're right. He doesn't. There's no Kaido gets humbled by an immense amount of Haki. He doesn't know any of that. There's no Haki bloom. I was thinking for sure we're gonna get a Haki bloom, which it is gonna bloom as this fight progresses, and it kind of gives them the idea to go all out and use it in this idea of mass. But like nothing really came out of this. It kind of just was, I use more Haki, or expanding this Haki. Maybe he gets an epiphany after the fight and said, I felt something different when I used that last attack. Maybe that's the bloom. I don't know. But yeah, so that was that was the meme I saw. I think for next chapter, I mean, geez, it's a break next week, but next chapter, I don't even know what, I mean, this is my longest video, man. I feel bad. I don't, but yeah. Next chapter, I think we get a moment. I'm just hoping this is headcanon, right? You get a moment with Zebek. He explains some stuff while he's basically fading because he's dying. We got to get some part of Harold. We got to continue with Loki's flashback into what happened to Harold and what Loki did, why he was framed, etc., and all that. So for next chapter, some Zebek moments, maybe get Dragon leaving, and we continue with Harold flashback and what happens next, maybe the deal he makes with the world government, and then getting betrayed by the world government and all that. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Please leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.